Guys, it's the Trigger Jedi. I'm back with another video. And today, on that video, we are going to be looking at this trigger right here. It is the Standard Company trigger. I don't think they actually have a name for it. It's just their trigger. This was sent to me. I've had people ask me about it, and I haven't had one in the shop until here recently. A customer sent me one to Pontoonized. So I thought I would take this opportunity to take a look at it, tell you my thoughts, and just that way you can make your decision if you want to maybe send one to me for pontoonizing or just throw one on a trigger bar. Okay, let's start up. This guy right here, and actually if you take a look, sitting right next to it is one of my Heisenberg or Peacemaker trigger shoes from the Gun Co. They look really similar because overall the basic shape design of a flat trigger has kind of already been figured out, so they look really similar, but there are key differences. Number one, this uses roll pins to install on your trigger bar, so you do need to be careful. It looks like they're sending a little punch, which is kind of nice, and what I really like about this punch, because of how short it is, it fits in my arbor press perfectly, which is nice. Use the pin punch. It's very smart of them to have sent this pin punch, because with roll pins, if you are not careful, you will damage and mushroom out these roll pins, and then you're in trouble. Okay, that is one of my main gripes with roll pins, is just how easy it is to mess up. So when roll pins are installed, they work really well. So as for pin walk, I don't foresee that being an issue with these guys. Use their pin punch. That's a good thing, but be careful. Overall design, I would say, like I said, basic design is really similar to a lot of your flat trigger shoes on the market. They do have an enclosed, let's see if I can get this better on camera. The safety tab is enclosed with the bottom of the shoe. Kind of neat. It works. It's the safety tab. The spring power is not overpowered like some, which is good. It runs flat to the surface, which is a plus. And the size of the safety tab down below, where it's going to hit the frame, is not too obtrusive. It's something that should work fine with almost all frames. It shouldn't catch, shouldn't drag, but you always have to test that. The main characteristic that I see performance-wise, and this really is where the meat and potatoes is in my book, is right here. This slot right here. This is a major aspect. This is where most of your, I guess you could call it, performance comes from. Its difference. This slot where the trigger bar rides is a reduced slot, which means you're going to have less pre-travel. Looking at this compared to other triggers, this is closer to like an agency arms trigger. That means you are going to have probably a reduction of about 70% of your take-up in comparison to factory. Okay? That means, in my book, you do need to definitely verify that all of your safeties are still intact. Now, I'm not saying that this overrides them. I'm just saying in certain frames, you do need to verify. Myself, I would scallop, and here's kind of this vertical extension right here. This one's extremely scalloped for different purposes, but I would recommend a little bit of scallop so that it stays nice and far away from your safety plunger if I was going to install this. And with a pontoonized trigger, it will get that. Okay, so this is closer to, like I said, an agency trigger. If you look here at the Gun Co. right next to it, see the red safety on the Gun Co. And let me move this out of the way. See that the Gun Co. has a slightly longer slot. Slightly. It's minuscule, but a little bit. A small amount makes a large bit of difference when it comes to the slot that trigger bar rides in. So yes, the Gunco has a little bit more pre-travel. However, for safeties, depending on what you're using it for, a little bit more isn't a bad thing. Get it up to the wall, it breaks through, and then you got your reset. Those are your most important parts. Pre-travel, really, it's up to you. Okay, I got these two side by side now. The other aspect that I want to talk about real quick, and this is this trigger, like I said, overall, I like it. I like the detailed machining on the side. That's kind of a neat little girder or web design, pretty neat. The pins, I like. The reduced action, I do like that, but again, like I said, for myself and for any pontoonized trigger, it will get a slight scallop on that vertical extension on the trigger bar. Overall, I would rate it as very close to an agency arms trigger for probably right around, I don't even know if you can get the agency arm without a trigger bar, and I think they're running about $150. These guys are running just over or right at $100. They've got different sales. They got a few different colors. They kind of run them in limited batches. So, okay, the other thing, the last thing, if you will, before I end this video and actually go finish my work on this thing, I needed to make this video, and that way I could get this trigger out and built and pontoonized for my good man RJ. Okay, this is your trigger pin that goes through the frame. This is something that I'm going to show on any trigger video that I do, because for a trigger that you want to be accurate, that you want to be precise, this hole right here matters. Some of them are looser than others. And for a good, precise trigger, you want that to be relatively snug. You don't want it to be tight, because that is going to limit the action of the trigger, or how fast it's going to come back from reset, or just in dirty environments or whatnot. It will slow down reset and action of the trigger. So you want something that's snug, well, not snug. You want it to have good tolerances. You want it to be fairly tight. The standard company trigger is what I would consider fairly tight. It's got some wiggle. Again, it's not bad. It's better than factory. It's definitely better than Apex. It's what I would consider right about on par with like Overwatch. The Gunco is a bit tighter. Okay, my triggers do run a bit tighter on the trigger pin itself. So for precision overall, gonna give it a little bit to the Gunco. The standard is nice. It's got a good finish. They don't have a lot of options color wise, but it depends. They'll run certain specials and whatnot. So, but it looks good in black. It's a good looking trigger. It's one that overall gets some thumbs up from the Trigger Jedi. So if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts about this, if you want to have one pontoonized, I don't offer it directly on the website, this trigger shoe, but through the pontoonizing program, or if we want to do something special, I could look at doing one of these guys for you. So it's one that I'm not against. I like it. It's a good trigger. Let me build you one. I'll get you one built up, or we can do a Heisenberg. We all know the Heisenberg is a beautiful trigger system, and that's what a pontoonized standard would be. It would be one of the Heisenberg competition systems built up on a standard co. So that's it for today. The Trigger Jedi is getting out of here. I have work to do on both of these, actually. So I just wanted to get this video done, show you guys the standard company trigger. Until next time.